Coming off of Tuesday's primary, there are several races we're watching closely through November, including the high-stakes race for the U.S. Senate seat currently held by Senator Tina Smith, who was appointed to the seat after Al Franken stepped down. Challenging Smith for that seat on the GOP side is member of the state Senate, Karin Housley. Representative Housley joins me now. Thank you so much for joining us this morning. We appreciate it. Tell us why you want to make the switch from state Senate to U.S. Senate.
And it was never in my plan to run for the United States Senate. I was content running my small business, working in the Minnesota Senate. I've been serving the East Metro for the last 6 years. But there was a real need for somebody to get something done in Washington, D.C. That's what I hear when I'm traveling throughout the state. People are so frustrated with their elected officials, especially those in Washington, D.C., not getting anything done. And I have a real track record of getting things done in the Minnesota Senate. So when this seat became available, and I saw that the governor had appointed Tina Smith, I went, you know what? I can do a better job. I'm going to run for this seat.
Do you see her as a weak opponent?
I don't see her as a weak opponent. I just see we are so different. Tina Smith has been a political operative her whole career. I'm a small business owner. I'm a mom. I'm a grandmother. And I've been serving in the Minnesota State Senate with a real track record of getting things done. And she hasn't. She's just been behind the scenes for years and years. So and now even during her time in Washington, D.C., she's continuing to obstruct anything that comes her way. So, and that's exactly what people are tired of.
We're expecting to see a lot of money, a lot of advertisements poured into Minnesota. It already has been, but continues so. And some have said that Minnesota could be ground zero for flipping the House. You know, that's kind of a lot of pressure on you, I would imagine. What are your thoughts on that, and how difficult is it going to be to flip?
You know, it is so exciting because all eyes of the country are on Minnesota right now and what's happening across the state. We are going to turn Minnesota red. President Trump almost won Minnesota. He lost by 40,000 votes, and Evan McMullin, another Republican on the ballot, had 54,000 votes. Up in the 8th district, Pete Stauber should be winning that. Down in the 1st district, Hagedorn, that'll be 5 of our congressional seats. The 7th district, it has a possibility of going red. So it's really exciting, and everybody in the country is watching Minnesota, and they're watching this race in particular because they know we have a real opportunity to take this back.
To that note, so many people, we've heard about this blue wave, and so many people coming out in response to President Trump and his administration. And the turnout alone on Tuesday, there was a lot for the Republicans for a primary, but also a lot for Democrats. How concerning is that for you moving to November, that blue wave and that push against Trump specifically will ride things out?
And what we had in the turnout here for this primary was similar to what we had in 2010, when the Democrats had a lot at stake in the primary and they had a lot on the ballot. They had 3 running for governor, and then in Keith Ellison's old district, that brought a lot of Democrats out, similar to 2010. But I'm not hearing it anywhere in the state that it's turning blue. People are really like what's happening. Unemployment's at its lowest in 18 years. People are keeping more of their hard-earned dollars in their pocket. So I'm not hearing this blue wave out there that the media keeps talking about. I'm really feeling that people are liking the way that Trump's policies are working.
Speaking of, you brought up Keith Ellison and all of the accusations against him that are swirling right now. What are your thoughts? There's been calls for him to not only drop out of the race for Attorney General, but also to step away from his current seat. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, the National Organization for Women called on him to halt his campaign and step down. I think it's very disappointing that Tina Smith nor the Democrat Party has really said anything about this. They can claim to be the party for women yet, but not making any statement on these accusations that are very, very serious. So it's extremely disappointing that they haven't come out and said anything where they stand on this.
And of course, speaking of women, the pink wave. This Senate race is one of 5 across the country that is between 2 female candidates. It's historic. What are your thoughts about being a part of that?
You know, it's very exciting, especially I have 3 daughters and 1 son, but there's some responsibility that comes along with it, especially this being the hashtag #MeToo Al Franken seat, former Al Franken seat, future Karin Housley seat. But there's a real responsibility that comes along with it to fight for women and do the right thing and get things done and be a real role model for women.
All right, we'll be watching from here through November. Thank you, Karin Housley. We appreciate your time.
Thanks.
All right, and you're off to a parade or somewhere
Yeah,
in
we've
Stearns
got
County after this?
Yeah, county fair,
All right.
LeSueur County, Stearns County.
Well, you have good weather for it as long
Yeah.
as you get it done through the earlier part of the day and then into this evening, right?